This is absolutely highway robbery. We should not be paying the asking price of these amplifiers. I've had many world-class amplifiers, and this simply does not make any sense. Well, here we are. The time has come. My review, the long-awaited review of the McIntosh 901 monoblocks hybrid amplifier that delivers 900 watts of power per side. There is so much I gotta say about this amplifier, but before I do that, make sure you are subscribed and make sure you like this video. I promised you I would bring you a raw, uncut, unbiased review of this iconic American brand, and here I am. So it is your turn to show me your support by liking and subscribing. McIntosh, founded in 1949 in New York. It is, in my opinion, the most iconic American brand we have today. Now think about it. It was founded in 1949. At that point in time, Sonos Fiber is nowhere near to be found because it was founded in 1983. Griffin Audio, an audio brand you've seen here many times, wasn't founded until 1985. Boulder Electronics, Boulder Amplifiers, founded in 1983. CH Precision, which is right here with me today, founded in 2009. So think about the gap between all these brands and McIntosh. That's how far ahead McIntosh has been throughout time. Now, they are celebrating their 75th anniversary this year, which is a huge milestone for the brand. Many other brands, and I love to make statements like this because I say them with a lot of heart and passion. Many other brands wish they had, the brand recognition and traction that McIntosh has today. Yes, including those brands that are watching me right now. All of them wish they had the pedigree that McIntosh has. Now, let me give you a little bit of context as far as what has made this brand so special. If you remember, in the 60s, McIntosh was part of the Woodstock Festival, where they showcased the MC3500 amplifier. That amplifier was eventually reborn in the form of the MC3500 MK2 today. Then in 1970, they went on to do the Grateful Dead Wall of Sound. This was a massive production. This particular event essentially brought to life the MC2300. There were 48 MC2300 powering over 600 loudspeakers at this point in time. 28,000 watts of power. And the idea here was to essentially give you unlimited dynamics, uncompressed sound, clarity, and essentially all the watts that your body can handle. Eventually, they ended up venturing into car stereo in the 90s. And then soon after that, they partnered with Subaru, the Ford Motor Company, Harley Davidson, in order to assist them with building the best sound possible for their particular needs. So yes, McIntosh has a tremendous track record of doing some of the most amazing things known to us. And this is indeed what makes this brand so iconic and so special. There is so much more that I can say about the brand, but I have to stay focused and talk to you right now about the MC901 Hybrid power amplifier. Throughout the past 3.5 weeks, I've been playing with these magnificent 901 amplifiers. In the beginning stages, when I got my first pair, I was not aware, I did not do my homework, that you can only use these amplifiers with a speaker that you can bi-amplify or tri-amplify, which is the case of my Sonos Fiber SE17s. Let me talk to you about what is special about these amplifiers. In the back, you see this particular section. This is the solid state section of the amplifier. This puts out 600 watts per channel. Now, towards the front of the amplifier, you have a separate amplifier, and this is the tube section. This is what should drive your mid-range and tweeter. And this is rated at 300 watts per channel. Now, towards the back, you have something that you typically never see on an amplifier, and that is a built-in crossover. Now, the reason why this is very important is because you can fine-tune the crossover points to your particular needs. In this case, the Sonos Faber is crossed over at around the 250 hertz mark. So there is so much flexibility that this amplifier provides that you typically never see with other power amplifiers offered to us today. Now, towards the back, this is typical McIntosh fashion. You have different taps rated at 2 ohms, 4 ohms, and 8 ohms. Now, if you're wondering what's so special about these particular binding posts, well, in the case of my Sonos Faber, they are rated at 4 ohms. So I have used them in the 4 ohm configuration. Then, as of last night, I went ahead and moved it to the 8 ohm configuration to see if there's any type of change. And certainly there was audible changes. I could hear my Sonos Faber sound a little more warmish when using the 8 ohm taps as opposed to the 4 ohms. The 4 ohm tap gave me a little more articulation throughout the entire frequency range. So it was a kind of like a warmer sound versus a more focused detail sound. I have not tried the 2 ohm taps. Maybe I will do that in the future. But for right now, let's continue on. Now, as far as the front, what's cool about the front is that you have 2 separate meters. You're able to gauge the power output of the lows and the highs, basically. I actually do like, by the way, this view to me is very enchanting. I love this retro look. I know there are many critics out there who hate the lights that McIntosh products have. It's a matter of opinion. They do not bother me. But I will say that I like the fact that these gauges are not extremely massive like what you typically see on a 1.25 or a 2kW or perhaps the 611, 601s. Those are larger displays, larger meters. I like this one because it's not that big. And by the way, if the lights bother you, you can always just turn them off. And you don't have to worry about this bright LED flashing in your dark room. Now, as far as the weight, listen, it's 180 pounds. The amplifiers are heavy. You need help. Now, towards the back, another great feature that the amplifier has is the fact that you can feed it an XLR signal on the solid state section as well as the tube section, okay? But if you do not have a preamplifier that has 2 sets of XLR outs, then you can use your single XLR output and connect it right here in the middle on the composite input. Essentially, that will feed the signal, the XLR signal from your preamplifier to both sets of amplifiers. Now, I do not know, okay, if there is any sort of improvement by using essentially 2 sets of XLR outs from my preamplifier into each amplifier. Now, I do not know if there's any benefit by doing so. I'm assuming there is a lot more nuance, perhaps more resolution, because you are separating the XLR signal coming from your preamplifier and feeding it directly to each amplifier here. Now, a lot has been said about the synergistic effects of Sonos Faber and McIntosh, okay? They are under the same umbrella. Anytime you have a McIntosh product connected to a Sonos Faber speaker, you, of course, are bound to get incredible results, okay? All right, so let's get started with the pros of these amplifiers. Pro number 1, absolutely incredible musicality. It is that amplifier that you plug into your loudspeakers. Connect the preamplifier of your choice. Yes, of your choice. I've used the Lampensator Horizon directly into the amps. Exceptional results. And now I am using the CH Precision L1X1. Exceptional results. You plug those in. You plug your preamplification in. and what comes out of your speaker is absolutely pure bliss. Musicality, smoothness, very hard to make the system sound bright. An immense wall of sound that just caresses you. Devastating, I repeat, devastating bass control. The low registers that this amplifier provides just shock me every single time. Remember, you have the adjustability on the back. The crossover allows you to fine-tune the amount of bass that's going to your bass drivers of your particular loudspeaker. And so you always feel like you're not lacking this body, this impact. It's tight. It's very, very articulate. It's extremely deep. There isn't anything lacking, in my opinion, when it comes to the control of this amplifier. The next pro is, of course, the top end. When it comes to the top end, it's pure magic. Very extended, airy, smooth, never bright, never fatiguing. Of course, it's using 8 KT88 tubes, which help tremendously. And by the way, I'm using the stock McIntosh tubes. I'm not even using anything aftermarket. I'm not using anything expensive. And this is actually a perfect segue to share something with you. I spoke to McIntosh and they told me that using aftermarket tubes with their amplifiers is really pointless because they have some sort of technology within the amplifiers that negates the sonic benefits of going with more expensive tubes, if that makes sense. So essentially, they're taking in the tube signal and they're transforming it into whatever McIntosh wants it to be before it gets to your tweeter and before it gets to your gears. Something along those lines. So they told me specifically, it makes no sense for you to get any expensive tubes because our design negates the benefits of more expensive tubes. Stick to stock tubes. And with stock tubes, again, just incredible. Just absolutely the type of presentation that I don't want to get up and go do something else with my life. It's the type of presentation that keeps me glued to my chair. The next pro of this amplifier would be the fact that you have so much flexibility because of this built-in crossover. I've never owned an amplifier that has all the tweakability that this amp has. And it feels so cool to be able to just walk up to the amp, turn the knob to the right, and add more bass on the fly. Turn it to the left and lean it out. Same thing with the high frequency. It's so appealing to me. I really enjoy that tweakability. It actually made me feel like I don't have to chase like more expensive cables. I don't have to chase more expensive components in the system. I can actually manage it from the top of the amplifier. But as you know, no product is perfect. And yes, the 901s are no exception. Here are the cons of this amplifier. Number one, as I stand right next to them, I can tell you, heat. They definitely put out heat. Okay, you need a well-ventilated room, which is why I have upped my game with my cooling system in my room. When I have the amplifiers running for about 2-3 hours, which I do oftentimes because I like the way they sound, the room can get toasty. Okay, so you got to make sure your room has enough ventilation so that you don't feel overwhelmed by the heat. The amplifiers, of course, they're tube amps. Anything with tubes will generate heat. These amps are no exception. Number two would be, another con of this amplifier would be the fact that the amp is very heavy and large. You need a massive stand. So not only are the amplifiers $38,000 a pair, you also need to add the cost of a quality stand. This is not an amplifier, folks, that you're going to throw on the floor, so that your dog can pee all over it, your cat can sleep on top of it. This is not the amplifier to do that with, okay? If you're spending $38,000 on these amps, please get the right stands for them. Finish the job, okay? You don't buy a great car and then skimp on tires, okay? Do yourself a favor. Always make sure you factor in the cost of a quality stand for this amplifier. Another con of this amplifier happens to be the fact that you cannot use it with speakers that cannot be bi-amped. So that means those of you with Wilson audio speakers, you will never get to hear this amplifier, period. Those of you with Magical speakers, you will never get to hear this amplifier, period. Any other brand that utilizes a single set of binding posts, you will never get to hear this magical amplifiers through your speakers. I sometimes wish that these high-end brands like Wilson, Magical, and I'm sure there are many others, gave us consumers the option to order speakers in biampable configuration. I personally think that a Magical speaker or a Wilson speaker connected to these would be amazing. Because remember, those two loudspeaker brands need a lot of bass control, a lot of grip. This thing does, as I said earlier, an incredible job at controlling woofers. So I think this amp would be phenomenal with Wilson and Magical. It's time for me to tell you my opinion, what I feel about this 901 McIntosh amplifier. And you know I'm going to go raw and uncut. This to me is highway robbery. But highway robbery in the sense that these amps should not be $38,000. These amps should be at least double the price, $80,000. The performance is there to justify it. The real estate, the brand recognition, the reliability is all there. I have seen brands from other manufacturers that will go nameless charge us the same money for one amplifier, okay, for one amplifier or for shoe boxes of amplifiers. Just simply doesn't make sense. If you're able to go to your local dealer and hear the 901s, I promise you, you're not going to be disappointed. I have owned some of the best amplifiers that money can buy. And I can tell you right now, from all tube amplifiers that I've owned, that I've had in my room, this to me are the best tube amps that I have personally owned. For $38,000 for the pair, you should not be thinking about it. You should be pulling out your wallet and ordering it, because it is 100% Jay's Audio Lab approved. Oh yeah, there you go. I said it. I am absolutely in love with these 901s. And I expect them to remain here for the long haul. Well, there you have it. I have done as I have promised. I have given you my raw, uncut, unbiased opinion of this incredible, iconic American brand, McIntosh. Please, if you love this video, if you like this content, if you want to see more of my unbiased reviews of different brands that I normally never showcase on my channel, all you have to do is subscribe and hit the like button. Share this video on any website that you visit. This is the beginning of my new chapter with my lab, Jay's Audio Lab. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.